Hey guys, just Gadamu here with another custom Gundam MSA review, and today I'm reviewing a project that I've had in the works for a very long time and never really got around to finishing, the GM Light Armor. I was going to say GM Trainer, but that's that guy. So the GM Light Armor is pretty much a stripped down version of the GM so that it's faster. And there's different variations of this, out there in the mobile suit variation world. But we'll put our GM version 2 here side by side. Now, well, actually, no. This is part of my GM 1.5 projects, where I've taken the Gundam 1.5 and turned it into a standard GM. Because once upon a time, I didn't have half a dozen GM version 2s, I had one, and I wanted more GMs in my collection. This has led to the creation of the GM D-Type, the GM Trainer, and hopefully many more variations in the future. The way I do it, pretty much, is I cut off the pockets of the RX-78 1.5, slim down its knees, trim its backpack to have one saber, and use a GM ground type head, usually from Karen's GM head, just because that one's easier to get than a ground type GM. Who wants to ruin a perfectly good ground type GM? Not me. So, moving on. You can see that the skirt is a lot shorter. It's got a mini skirt. Woohoo! It doesn't have the ankle guards. It has them on the sides. In some variations, it has no armor on the back of the legs, but that just seems kind of stupid to me. Backpack is overall the same. I'll probably add one of these little weapon holders on there. Instead of big bulky shoulders, though, it's got these teeny tiny shoulders. I have a preview video of this guy before I finished him, so that I go over how he was built and how you can build one. So look for that GM Light Armor preview, MSA review, and you'll get to figure out all that. It doesn't have any head Vulcans. It's just kind of simpler. It has a very, very customized beam rifle. Take a look at that. I didn't make that. My wife made that. Because she's amazing. Using the PS2 Japanese Gundam video game as a model, she just went at it and made this gun. I drilled the hole in the end. Woohoo! So, I used a bit of dye, orange dye, red, orange, no, sun orange. I used sun orange dye on this guy from Rit Dye, and I had to do paint removal on the chest. I custom sculpted the chest vents in this one, and then I painted these and the neck. And, in some he's like stark white, but I thought an off-white was, a little bit better. And my whites don't perfectly match, and my oranges don't perfectly match, because when you do paint removal on a chest, it doesn't soak in the dye as quick as the other parts. Plus, these things are like 20 years old, so, maybe not 20, but they're getting there. So sometimes they don't dye evenly. This was a version 1 shield cut down to be the right shape, but it still has my original drawing lines. My wife always does a better job on stuff than I do, so there it is. So, in short, he's a combination of paint and dye, but mostly just dye. The legs and stuff are just the original colors. Trim these down. I'd say the hardest part of him was probably the rifle. My wife handled that. These are Gundam version 1 shoulders. Just trimmed. My wife did all the cutting. She's just absolutely amazing. Now, generally, the head should be white with orange ears. But the thing of it is that even if you do sanding first and use really good paint, paint scrape happens. The Oxo Gundam had to be painted, at least at the time. Have consistent color. But, so I decided that I would dye the head orange and then paint it white, since it wasn't white to begin with. But after seeing it on there, I was like, you know what? My own variation is going to have an orange head. I might paint the ears white at some point when I get around to it. But overall, I really like it. And like I said, this is part of the GM 1.5 figure line that I've custom built. regular GM, GM D-Type, GM Trainer, and finally this one. Pretty excited about it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the review. Make sure to check out the review for these other custom figures, and I'll see you guys next time.